toxic masculinity.
Students outraged professor has empathy for Trump supporters.
Empathy.
Empathy.
It's the word empathy you're having trouble with. Yeah.
Yes, I was like, what?
Yeah. Students. Okay. Let me go ahead and switch to the this view. Okay. Students seek to oust professor who's explained motivation of peaceful Trump voters. He seemed to have some empathy for Trump voters. All right. Let's see here. So this is again by Ben Ziesloft, whose article I liked earlier. This is also Campus Reform, and let's see if this one's any good. So, a professor explained the motivation behind those who peacefully attended the January 6th rally in D.C. Students are now demanding that university discipline him. How dare he explain the motivations of these protesters? In an essay for the American Mind, philosophy professor Joshua Hochschild at Mount St. Mary's University at Emmitsburg, Maryland, detailed the sentiments of Trump voters from the announcement of his candidacy to the events of January 6th. They know that even if the rally does not actually help Trump politically, it promises to draw attention to problems with our electoral system and to testify to the importance of peaceful domestic protests. Hochschild said of the peaceful members of the crowd, maybe there will be a resolved will to reform the system and ensure that people can trust elections next time. Hochschild then noted the reactions of average Trump voters to the media exploiting the awful travesty of some people's inexcusable violence to delegitimize and shame every responsible citizen who took reasonable and lawful means to raise legitimate questions about the election integrity. Well, that's right. I mean, there were a few people who broke windows and, caused some kind of damage and a little bit of chaos and were unruly. Maybe some of them were kind of pushing against police and stuff like that. I didn't see anybody throw a punch or anything particularly violent like that, but there was some pushing and shoving and some nastiness. And there were like thousands of Trump supporters there, and there was like maybe a couple of dozen people who were a bit rowdy, and they weren't even really that violent. But the people who were totally peaceful are being accused of insurrection, along with the people who like broke windows and stuff like that. And I mean, none of them were insurrectionists. That's obviously true, but especially not the people who just sort of casually strolled through the Capitol building. Like, to me, that's like the weirdest thing. I mean, it's so obviously corrupt that they're persecuting these. There was a guy, I don't remember who he was. Tucker Carlson had him, was talking about him the other day. The chief prosecutor, I think, that's going after these people who are at the Capitol, and he specifically said he's going after a shock and awe strategy. He wants to shock Americans into basically being afraid of doing anything like this again. And his perspective is that this is okay because he does see these protesters as insurrectionists, and he thinks they're so dangerous and so evil that they have to be I guess like scared into submission. Which is like, I can understand saying that about a foreign enemy, but about your own people in America, I mean, that guy does not deserve the job he has. This guy's a dangerous prosecutor. He should not be have that position. Okay, let's see here. So then he says, perhaps you hope you can offer some perspective, tell your side of things, but it's too late. The media spin is overwhelmingly effective, he wrote. Nobody will listen. They have made up their minds. They sincerely believe the lies, the disinformation, the emotional manipulation. They sincerely believe you are a dangerous traitor simply for going to D.C. and voicing reasonable skepticism. Man, I love this guy. I don't even know if he's a Republican or Democrat, but he is spot on with what he's saying here. Though Hochschild explicitly said that those who rioted at the Capitol building on January 6th were stupid, shameful, and lawless, which I don't agree with. Students believe that he presented excessive grace. How dare he? To those who participated in the rallies. Nearly 1,800 individuals signed a petition calling for Hochschild's resignation. According to WUSA, I don't know what that means. I don't know what WUSA is. I think that's a local news channel. Hochschild attended the protest on January 6th. Mount St. Mary University issued a statement on Twitter following the student backlash, stating that they support academic freedom. And I love that. And that's the reason I really wanted to talk about this story. This is the first time I've ever read about a university actually telling their students to back off and leave this university professor alone because the professor said something conservative. I've never seen that, ever. And so this is like the first time I ever. I love that. This is obviously like a private Catholic school of some kind, I guess. I don't know. I don't know about this university. A statement from Provost Boyd Creasman, PhD, regarding reaction to a recent article published by Professor Joshua Hochschild, PhD. So this is a tweet. The statement says, statement from Provost Boyd Creasman, PhD. One of the cornerstones of American higher education is academic freedom, which preserves the intellectual integrity of our educational system and serves the public good. Excuse me. Academic freedom gives both faculty and students the right to express their views respectfully without fear of sanction. While everybody is free to agree or disagree with what some members of our community believe, we all have a vested interest in protecting the right to speak as a private citizen. This might seem unfair in certain contexts, but it does preserve a higher good. We must all work to navigate that reality together. Part of our effort is to evolve into a better university while striving for racial and social justice. Then racial and social, give me a break. Part of that is our working together to reach greater understanding of each other's views and discern the facts about the state of our society. This must be done with mutual respect. I mean, I love that. The fact that I mean, obviously I don't like the whole racial and social justice thing. The word justice should not have anything in front of it. It should just be justice. That's it. You don't need racial justice, you need social justice, you just need justice. So I don't like that. But, you know, the fact that this stuff needs to be done with mutual respect. I mean, good Lord, how often do you hear that kind of stuff from a university? That's amazing. And then they're going to do this diversity, equality, or equity and inclusion task force crap, which I don't even want to read that. That's just embarrassing. So then Hochschild says the same, continues here. He says, while I will allow individuals to make their own judgment upon the article, I find this to be yet another example of a this is... Who is this talking? I don't know what this is.
This is related. That's not the article. I think.
No. This is the article.
Oh, okay.
After we get to this is some kind of quote from like a student or something like that. Although, okay, I don't really understand this, but they didn't. Okay. Ben Ziesloft, I love your writing, but you should have made clear who this quote is from, because I have no idea. Let's see here. While I will allow individuals to make their own judgment upon the article, I find this to be yet another example of a Mount professor of this university, proving that the benefit of the doubt is reserved for white Americans only. No, it isn't. There we go. Wrote petition author and class of 2001 member Bree Purdie. Okay. I find it repulsive that Hochschild calls for respectability and humanity when the actions of Trump supporters on January 6th proved to be less than that. I don't like the people that he's defending, and therefore this guy shouldn't be allowed to defend them. I find it telling that he asks for decency when there are prominent white supremacists rubbing elbows at the same event as he and others, and proudly boasting racial symbolism along with the American flag. I really don't like that. A lot of people are keep invoking this thing about white supremacists at the January 6th protest, which I guess there were some like white supremacists there, like a couple. I don't know, maybe like two or something. I don't even know. I don't know. I haven't really seen much about this whole white supremacy thing. There's just this accusation that there was these white supremacists there. But when people invoke this white supremacist thing, it makes it sound like a lot of white supremacists were there. And I've only seen a couple of reports talking about the white supremacists, and they've tied like two people that I saw reported to white supremacists. But even if it's like 10 or something like that, there were thousands of people there. Tying the protesters to white supremacy is, to me, totally disingenuous. This is like the worst lie they could possibly tell, because it evokes such emotion. Like, it's going to upset people, and they know that, and that's why they're using it. They want people to believe that the protesters that support Trump were white supremacists. Total lie. I'm sorry. Maybe there was a couple white supremacists there. I don't know. But this idea that Trump supporters are white supremacists is such a terrible, terrible lie. I hate it, because I am a Trump supporter. I am not a white supremacist. And nobody I know is. Nobody I know who is a Trump supporter is a white supremacist. And it's such a vicious lie. It's such an insidious lie. But it allows leftists to feel good about themselves. Like, I'm on the good side because I'm not a white supremacist and my group isn't associated with them. Yeah, you're just associated with Antifa and Black Lives Matter, who are both racist groups who hate white people. But that's okay. That's okay. And they're openly racist as well. Whereas at least with conservatives, we'll say, we don't agree with the white supremacists. They're not part of our group. They may try to join our group, but they're not part of our group. Whereas leftists will say, yes, we love Black Lives Matter. We love Antifa. You love racists. We do not. Conservatives are the not racist group. Democrats are the racist group. All right. And what's particularly striking about that is she says that, you know, these people prove to be less than respectable. But just the other day, BLM protesters, including George Floyd's nephew, stormed the Iowa State Capitol. Did you hear about this?
No.
Yeah. Look, I'll show you some video from this. This is pretty crazy.
What's the deal? Hey, whoa. What you doing, bro? What you doing, bro? What you doing, bro? Whoa. What you doing, bro? What the fuck are you doing, bro? What you doing, bro? See the kid. Hey, see the fucking kid, bro. What the fuck are you doing, bro? Yo, that's a fucking kid, bro. Yo, that's a kid, bro. Yo, that's a kid, bro. That's a kid, bro. That's a kid. That's a fucking kid. That's a kid. Get the fuck off her. That's a kid, dude. Man, get the fuck up off her, bro. Dude, that's a fucking kid, man. Dude, that's a motherfucking kid, dude. What the fuck are you doing, dude? That's a fucking kid right there. That's a fucking kid. Man, what the fuck, dude? What the fuck? Yo. See, that's that bullshit. Number? You arrested her because she asked what's your badge number? 2018. Hernandez, you mad because your badge number is? Hey, what the fuck are you pushing me for? What the fuck are you pushing?
I apologize for the language in that video. But yeah, that looked like an armed insurrection to me, Valeria. I think all those people need to be arrested and rounded up by the FBI. Why aren't the FBI looking for everybody in that video and rounded? They walked into the Capitol. I saw them in there. So they existed in the Capitol. They were pushing police officers. They must be armed insurrectionists. I don't know why we're not arresting them all. Do you understand that?
They're kids.
Yeah, a lot of the people that went into the Capitol on January 6th were kids. Well, in the sense that they were young. None of these people, you think any of these people were actual children?
Under 18, I think.
How do you know? Because you just looked at the video just now?
Mm-hmm.
How old were they?
I don't know. For me, they look young.
Like?
Under 21.
Well, that's not under 18.
Well.
I'm sure there were 21-year-olds at the Capitol as well
Mm-hmm.
that the FBI is trying to round up. Anyway, point is, we have two systems of government now in America. We have the government that goes after conservatives and persecutes us, and we have the government that basically finds Democrats innocent of everything, and they get let go of everything. If you're black or you're Hispanic and you commit a vicious crime, a lot of these prosecutors won't even prosecute you anymore. The ones that George Poros got elected. And the FBI just won't look into you. If you're protesting at a Capitol like this, they won't look for you. But if you're a conservative, be prepared to go to prison, completely unjustly. Okay, I think that's it for the news. Do you want to take any of the super chats here?
Yeah.
Okay, we're almost done, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize for the length, but we had to combine some stories here. Yesterday's stories and today's stories. So we had a few more than normal. Okay, let's go ahead and read some of these, and then we are out.
Okay, Preacher Daniel says, hey, Biden from my cold dead hands.
Toxic Masculinity. Weekdays, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific.